in terms of some possible trade murmurings out there. The first one, I think we're going to pull these up here in a second. Just waiting for that to happen real quick. All right. The first one by Jake Fisher. Word is the Suns appeared close to finalizing a 3-team trade involving Jay Crowder prior to tip-off tonight against the Golden State Warriors. And then Mark Stein earlier in the day said there have been some credible rumbles this week that the Suns have made progress on finding a trade resolution to the Jay Crowder saga. Crowder's cryptic IG story appears to feed into that notion, which was just a big black screen with a little small clock right in the middle of it. And the clock, I think the clock time was like 10:10 or something like that. So
we should check Jake Fisher's tweet. Did that come out at 10:10?
Oh my gosh. No.
Honestly.
So, Gerald, obviously you're in the arena. I know people saw this. What have you heard in regard to any of this?
I haven't really heard much. Obviously, anytime Jay Crowder is going to tweet something like that, put it on his IG story, there's going to be speculation about that type of thing. It wouldn't surprise me if they got close, especially coming off a 4-game road trip where they went 1-3, and it was pretty clear that they needed some help. I do think that there's probably been a renewed sense of urgency as far as getting something done to help out a rotation that, let's be frank, could use a little bit of help. Of course, they had one of their best games of the season shorthanded tonight to kind of contradict that. But, we actually kind of ran into James Jones hanging out in the media room area. He seemed to be in a good jovial mood. Not that you can really read too much into that, but he was here. And he's not always hanging around this area. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But definitely something to keep an eye on if they got close tonight, if those reports are true.
So you didn't ask him anything?
No, because
JJ,
asking
come
him
on.
back,
Champ, tell me, hey, what we got?
yeah,
Come on.
he's not going to give us anything.
Did he look like he had a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander smile, or
my
did he have like an Eric Gordon feel to him?
I mean,
Like could it have been Eric Gordon here, Jay Crowder to Milwaukee, Grayson Allen to Houston, something like that, maybe?
Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich of any ilk. I mean, I'll take either Bogdanovich.
If I speak, I will get in trouble. That's all I'll say.
Just yell out right now, James, what did you trade for?
And I think Andrew Wiggins in the stands is going to look at me like I'm crazy.
no, what you should say right now really loud is, what? We traded for Andrew Wiggins?
Oh, my God. Okay,
Y'all trying to get me in deep trouble.
If you guys were speculating, because obviously we haven't gotten any hint as to what the other two teams, obviously we know of the three, there's the Suns who are involved, but who do you think the other two teams might be? I mean, we've heard rumors of Miami a lot recently. We heard rumors of the Bucks
Detroit
a little while ago. Detroit was a while back, though.
No, we heard about Detroit possibly being in a 3-team trade as well.
Yeah, but that's just in the comments.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the Bucks wouldn't surprise me because we know that they've been interested in Jay Crowder. There was a report the other day that they're interested in trading Grayson Allen for a defensive-minded player, which is a synonym for Jay Crowder. But it could be a situation where the Suns don't really want Grayson Allen, so maybe looping in a third team and that kind of deal might make sense.
Is there any name, if you could will it into existence, a realistic name that you would hope is what would come back in a 3-team deal here?
I don't know about a specific 3-team deal with the Bucks. I'd have to look at the numbers because math is important to me, Espo. But but I don't know. I mean, we've talked about so many different trade candidates. Like Julius Randle went off tonight, and I was just kind of looking at him put up numbers. Denny Avdija is another guy with the Wizards that's come up a lot. I know David Nash, our friend on Twitter, has been really high on his fit with the Suns. So Knicks and Wizards are two kind of intriguing teams because they're doing okay right now. And if they suddenly take a downturn, maybe guys like that will become available. Maybe not Julius Randle, but, like Evan Fournier, for example, is just sitting on the bench doing nothing in New York. So just some things to keep an eye on.
Julius Randle balled out tonight against the Nuggets.
That he did.
The chat keeps saying Kelly Oubre, and if it's that, I probably won't show up to work for a few days.
I'm just saying.
Oh no! Don't
you
say it.
should be
Don't say it.
prepared for an underwhelming trade.
Are you getting? Do you have sources on?
No, I'm
you're
just
hearing
saying,
underwhelming trade.
No, I'm just saying because things are getting a little bit more moving out of necessity, not just because we can make moves.
Not yet.
They're getting closer to it.
Let me just say this.
I just think you should prepare yourself for something that's a
The
little underwhelming. It's just a gut
But
feeling
the
that I
trade
have.
deadline isn't until February. They got plenty of time.
I'm aware of that. But
on.
I think if the reports that we have gotten over the last week of them starting to re-engage teams about a Jay Crowder trade, there's a reason why they're re-engaging those teams, and that's because of injury. I'm just saying, I'm not saying they're moving right now out of desperation, but it's closer to desperation right now than it was at the beginning of the season.
Jill,
That's all I'm saying.
Can you agree with me here? Because Lindsay or Chelsea, whoever it is sitting over there, is bringing down the mood. Any trade's a good trade right now when the asset you're dealing is a guy sitting at home, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think by default, obviously, any warm body that's able to play for you right now and plug up a hole in the rotation is better than what Jay Crowder is giving you. But yeah, to Lindsay's point, the timing of things is interesting coming off the 1-3 road trip. I think tonight helped a little bit in that regard. But we just don't know who they're talking with, what they're talking about, what the price line is set at. So it's all speculative. But yeah, I'm not expecting some high level role player. I think you're probably looking at maybe a buy low candidate or just a decent bench piece that you're hoping will really fit in nicely with this system.
Espo is completely full of crap. If they traded for like Russell Westbrook, like you think this guy over here is like, oh, he's a warm body, that's good enough. No,
Okay,
he would lose
that's
his
a fair
shit.
point.
I mean,
It's a
you'd
fair
have to
point.
figure out how to get $44 million in salary. It'd be more than Jay Crowder. Like, wow.
Do you want a tinfoil hat trade theory?
Sure.
Yes.
I'm
yes, I
surprised you
do.
haven't said this yet. The reason why Chris Paul hasn't played in the last handful of games is because they're keeping him healthy because he's a part of it. There's your
man.
tinfoil hat
And
trade
Landry
theory.
Shamet and Dario Saric, 4-person trade. Get him out of here.
Ish was in it, but now he's not because we saw him
Just
play
kidding.
tonight.
Just kidding. We're not trying to burn down Rome.
I'm just messing, you guys. I'm just
Breathe.
messing.